subsoiling to do. Now, of course, the issue I have here, we've only got to get the loading wagon out and start collecting this stuff, and that's not a difficult job. The difficult job is unloading it into the debris thing, and not getting stuck on the walls. But actually collecting stuff is a fairly painless job. But I may end up with that happening off camera between streams. Depends what I end up doing. I do want to chop some more wood today. Cut it down so it fits in the fire pit, and then run a fire this afternoon. And just get some cleared, and then probably do the same Monday afternoon as well. So if I can clear the area where I've currently got stacks of tree limbs, I can make some more, because I have a whole bunch of I don't know, spiky needle trees that look like Christmas trees, but they're very unkempt, shall we say. So you couldn't use it as a Christmas tree even if you could fit it through the front door. But it has branches dragging on the ground. Some of the branches don't even have needles on. And it does make running the mower close to them a little bit of a pain. So I'm chopping some of the lower limbs off just to give us a little bit more access around them. But I have to find something to do with that wood. So the wood gets... I think last time I left the wood to dry for a year, so now it's quite brittle, but some of the limbs are a little bit thick to just snap by hand. So I've got a little power saw that I can chop through the limbs with. And see how we go from there. But once I probably have another round of tree limb chopping, and the trees will be tidied at that point. So that will be a good thing. And round we go, and engage the thing, and let's go. So it looks like 45 foot is about right for this windrower, in spite of the fact it seemed to want more. You know, it seemed to suggest it could do more. I don't think it can. And then the other thing is, obviously, with this size of row, it does fill up the loading wagon very, very quickly. Probably, I was debating getting a pickup head for the forage harvester. Now that we have a forage harvester, we might as well use it for things as frequently as possible. I could get a mowing head, but I think the mowing head that we already have on the tractor, and because we have the tractor specifically set up for that, I don't know that I need a mowing head on the forage harvester. But I mean, it would save rowing if I did. And the forage harvester would automatically create conditioned grass. But I want to keep the mower, I want to keep the loading wagon, because we can do hay contracts on this map with it. The hay delivery points do not require you to deliver bales. You can deliver loose, so I can do a hay contract. I can pick up loose hay in a loading wagon and drop it off at the delivery point. I can't do that with a forage harvester. Forage harvester won't pick up hay, it'll only pick up grass and straw. At least that's what the icons on the pickup header would suggest. So being able to cut and row this grass and then pick it up with the forage harvester, I could do that, but I've got a loading wagon, so it's probably just easier to do this way. Tractor gets a lot of use, forage harvester not so much. I may revisit that decision later. Obviously maize harvest, I have to use the forage harvester. I did try and use the mower on the maize, it doesn't work. A mower does work on cereals. So if I wanted to whole crop barley or wheat or anything like that, I can use a mower. We're not going to be doing whole crop silage this run. It's going to be predominantly maize and grass, and when we grow cereals we are going to harvest the cereals, especially since I'm probably planning most of our cereals will be barley because we're in Scotland and they happen to like barley for certain things. And good morning JWoww, how's you doing? My week has been okay. Mrs. Osa's back from her vacation along with Teen Osa, and we're kind of getting back into the swing of school things right now. I think I am going to lift that now, and good. A lot of people at work were off because of the holiday weekend, so turned out it was pretty much me at work yesterday answering a lot of the problems, and yeah, we had a few problems that mostly were the person doing the wrong thing at the wrong time with the wrong thing. So yeah. Did fix a bug though, that was good. A bug that has been there since, I think 2014. And I think sometimes the problem with our business is they work around the bug. So, that doesn't seem to be working properly, I'll just find a way around it, as opposed to saying, look, this is a problem, can someone please fix it for me? So we don't know anything about it, and then someone comes along and says, that thing isn't working properly. And you look at the code and it's like, it's been like this for 15 years. Why has nobody brought it up in the past? It's, well, we didn't know we could. It's, So yes, this particular problem's been around since 2014, and nobody's complained about it until today. Or until this week, I think it was Wednesday. But I think it's fixed, so that's good. I mean, I've worked in some places where, people will complain about absolutely everything, even if it's working properly. And it's like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. Oh, but I don't like it working that way. No, but everybody else does, so you don't get a vote. If you tell your manager about it, and your manager says, yes, this is actually a problem, and everybody thinks it's a problem, we might think about changing it, but far too many times I've had someone request, this needs to be changed, so you change it, and then everybody else in the company says, why did this change? It was doing everything fine. So, how's about you all get into a meeting and discuss what needs changed and what doesn't need changed, and let me know when you come to a decision. I stuck. Oh well. I guess that's sufficient. We'll fold this up. And as I said, we'll probably get rid of this and get a merge, because it's not so much, the fields support this size of equipment. It's more a case of the field edges do not support the agility of this equipment. But I think with the winter sales, we should end up with about 200,000 income from this harvest and the maize silage that's already fermenting. So that should mean we can buy ourselves a couple more fields now, or in spring, which will increase our income for next year. And then during the course of next year, we can think about where is the... Oh, okay. Loading wagons in Bay 3. Maybe it's Bay 1. I don't know. I suppose technically this is Bay 1, although the maintenance bit's over by the Bay 3. Okay, let's get this attached. Let's start collecting. I'm probably going to do what I did with the maize. I had problems doing a drive-through with grass on the silage bunkers. We kept getting stuck. With the maize, I filled one end, and then I reversed into the silage bunker to unload. I do not have a what is it? The liquid, the silage additive. You can fit that to this pickup. I don't have any, so we're not going to boost our yields by anything doing it this way. It's one of the arguments for having a pickup header on the, or a mower on the forage harvester, is that does have a silage additive tank, which would boost the yield, I believe, by about 10%. I have used the Vermeer pack. And we did use that quite a lot for Maypole, which was the series previous to this one. This is now on episode 5, so little more than a month ago. And I did like it, but it was time to use some different equipment, so I'm avoiding using it on this playthrough. That's kind of a commonality thing. Normally I don't do a lot of silage, just enough to feed the animals. And this playthrough, silage is actually our main cell crop at this stage. We will be doing a lot more arable stuff, and thus there will be opportunity to get ourselves a harvester, but young farm at the moment, we can't afford a new harvester right this minute. How am I doing? 27,000. So that's kind of the thing I'm looking at the moment. I want a little bit of variety, so there's the self-propelled baler. There's what is it? I don't know if I have it now. Windrowers. I don't even have another option. There's the mechanical windrower, which doesn't have the windmills on it. It has sort of rotating vanes. And I know of a farmer on YouTube in real life who has one of those. Earlier model, but I do watch them doing their hay harvest. Yeah, their hay harvests, and they use a Vermeer rake to make their windrows. So I figured, I'll give that a try. It's an okay piece of equipment. I have found in certain situations it's a little bit of a problem based on the whole working width and the working width and the graphic position of the vehicle, the equipment. So you'll notice sometimes along here I'm missing bits because the working width of the pickup head is not quite in line with the middle of the loading wagon. But, yeah, we're going for stuff I don't usually do, which involves using loading wagons and loading silage pits and using, first piece of big harvesting equipment was the forage harvester rather than a combine harvester. And we can forage the other stuff as well. We could grow wheat and barley and forage that. But I need more silage bunkers if I'm doing that. Because we're using Maize Plus, that would mean I'm creating grass silage, whole crop silage and corn silage, and I've only got 2 bunkers to work with. So I can't do all of them at the same time. Yeah, I can't do all of them at the same time. And part of the issue I have, I need to be selling the grass silage quite as very quick turnover on the grass silage sales, just so that the clamp is empty when the next cut comes around. Now, when I get some cows, I will be feeding them the silage I make, so I can't afford to have all my bunkers fermenting while I'm also trying to use what's in them to feed the animals, so I probably need a 3rd bunker at some stage. Right now we can run 2 because all I'm doing is grass and maize, and I can cycle the grass through fast enough. How are we doing there? Yep, got that. I'm going to grab this. I'm not going to grab that there, I'm going to get stuck on a tree. And again, this is seriously encouraging me to consider some potential forestry when it snows. So can't pick up that grass because it's fresh. Fresh doesn't work. Did I miss a bit cut, or did I miss a bit for rowing there? I didn't cut a piece of it. Well, that's a bit of an oversight. So I will need to lime all of this grass now that we're in November, because obviously it's going to die out in December and over the winter. So getting the ground in pristine condition for next year is going to be our main goal for now. I can't see where I'm going. But next, so using precision farming, if you want if you want to keep your score high, you need to make sure that you are liming and fertilizing at least your grass fields fairly regularly. Grass doesn't use an awful lot of fertilizer, so it's not a big deal to just, once you've finished mowing a field and collecting the grass, you just run out, grab the fertilizer, spread some fertilizer on the field, and it's back to perfect, and you don't use a lot of it. But lime is a kind of a problem because you need to do that approximately every third harvest to maintain a perfect score. And the only way to do that is to, because grass harvests 3 times a year, you basically have to pick a point where lime is needed, or lime can be added without realistically harming the crop. So winter is the time to do it. I'm not going to bother with the corners because this is a big loading wagon, well, a relatively large loading wagon, and I can't maneuver it into those corners because the hedges are too close. Anyway, let's get this all dumped. We can get on to the other field. So we got 30,000 already. Make that 60,000. Yep, 60,000. That's actually not bad. How's the Kubota is doing fine. 7 minutes left on its journey around the field. And yeah, also the whole sort of variety thing also extends to the tractors I'm using. I did try to avoid Valtra for the Maypole series because, well, one, they weren't available, and I did use a Valtra G on the series prior to that. So I was trying to avoid using tractors and potentially manufacturers that I had featured quite heavily on that series. And on this farm, because Valtra got released as a bonus on one of the Farm Sim patches, I figured, yeah, we could use the Valtra. Plus it gave me a chance to use the reverse drive L-Hoe mower, whatever that's called. So, you know, it was kind of a, hey, I want to use that mower, and Valtra's set up to do it. I think Fendt might be as well, but you need a Fendt 900 for reverse drive. And then Kubota tractor. I have not used any Kubota tractors in any of my playthroughs. And I got the DLC. So that hits the point of, I got it, I might as well use it. Same with the grass and forage pack. I've got it, I haven't used any equipment on it because the farm at that time was too well established and I had all the equipment that came with that pack. Forage harvester, I usually don't forage harvest. Forage harvesting I usually do very late in a playthrough. We did forage harvest on Old Oak Farm, but that was within the last couple of months rather than early on. I'm probably, other things I'm considering. I'm probably not going to get a class combine harvester because I've used them a little too often, I think. Oh, we can only get half a row per. This is a good yielding field, I'll give it that much. I think it's down a little from last year or last cut, but it does yield quite nicely. So yeah, other tractors I'm looking at is possibly Case, because I have gone pretty much the entirety of Farm Sim 19 not using a Case. Fendt I do like, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive than a Massey Ferguson, which is kind of an equivalent, all things considered. I can buy a Massey Ferguson or I can buy a Fendt. They both do exactly the same things. It's just that the Fendt's 5,000–10,000 more expensive. So I tend not to buy Fendts, but you know, I'm not opposed to using them. How am I doing here? Doing okay. Not sure I'm going to get to the end of this row though. Maybe I will. And I've done, you know, I've always done a lot of baling, and I had a lot of problems with bales on Maypole, and I don't, as I said before, I don't know if it's the mods I'm using or something else, but they got really squirrely. Back one of the patches, and it's quite a while ago. And so this series I've decided I'm going to try and avoid using bales as much as possible. May not be entirely possible if I'm going to do silage contracts, because the only way to do silage contracts is to make wrapped bales so that they're available immediately. I am not sure, and it might be something I want to test, if I could use a loading wagon to collect the grass from the field, and then stick it in the Govial stationary baler. Yeah, see, that's not going to fit in there without getting stuck on the wall, and that's the thing I was saying earlier. I wonder if I can go over the middle.